What's up, everybody? This is the poker coaching study session. Today, we're going to be looking at
3-bet pots in cash games.
Very, very good.
Keeping score today, Scotty?
Yeah, I got it.
What's our
Adam's up first.
what are our scoring parameters?
I give you a point if you get anything that is, enough of a feature that we should be playing it. So almost anything green gets a point. Everything else is a minus point if it's wrong, or if it's particularly funny to be a minus point, we do that. Then we arbitrarily or
We
award
get bonus
stars.
points for particularly funny?
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on 1 second here, guys. Just setting it up.
To
Are we playing
quote-
in position, out of position today?
We are the 3-better out of position in the small blind versus late position.
Oh
Okay.
boy,
Okay,
that's good stuff.
interesting.
Yeah, because it has the tension of you should check a lot out of position.
Yep.
But you should bet a lot out as the 3-better.
Right.
That's
Yep.
Yeah, it's not easy, but it's if we're playing along with solver, it's where we're going to find ourselves 3-betting the most in
Yeah.
the small blind
oh right. There's a big one. Yeah.
versus. Okay, am I sharing?
You're
Yep.
sharing.
So we are going to be 3-betting in the small blind, and we are going to get called by the button or the cutoff. Okay, I'll do the first one. Queens, king high flop. So I think, oh, and we're out of time. But I think generally we're gonna 3-bet this texture. I mean, we're gonna c-bet this texture.
And I'm very happy checking here also. Good. So
That's an interesting card. Hmm. Over bets. Let's try an overbet. No, the trap. The pure trap. We're checking range here.
pure trap, and he also does have ace queen. We block it heavy.
That's what I was thinking, that we blocked it. And also, we're checking range when this must be he must have a shit ton more queens than we do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at this right now. Okay, yeah, we're just checking range. We don't care.
Yeah.
And he does have a lot of ace queen, even with our double blocking, because 70% equity here.
Yeah.
Sure, yes. Who has the straight advantage?
So I think, so the
Kind
question
of
is, do you wanna-
He
do you
does. Go ahead, sorry.
wanna- do you want to finish this as played?
Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
deep diving. Is that all right?
Yeah, no, deep dive as long as you want. I was just, yeah,
Okay, I think what's going on here is that he's got. Even though we're blocking it, he's got this in full frequency. We do too. But he's got ace queen suited in full frequency. And we're just checking range here.
Well, the
That
other
was just,
side,
go ahead.
the other part of this is we bet at a very high frequency on the small blind, which is inevitably going to lead us to need to check a lot. Because you can see like the equities right now it's in cutoff's favor, and we're playing out of position here. So
I wonder if this shifts the, the only thing I wanted to check is if this shifts the. Yeah, you have a good point. To that end. This flop, let's see. So. We've got a real range advantage, which makes sense. We're betting small.
but after he calls,
So. Yeah, so I'm always sus about this because I'm not sure if it's based more on the card shifting equity or the fact that he called and his range is
Right.
now filtered. But yeah, he's now got the range advantage. And he's got the nut advantage, so it makes sense that we're protecting our range. Yeah, I'm gonna finish this out because I was surprised by this.
Finish
I'm
it,
curious,
finish it with a check line. Okay.
because I'm just curious what we're supposed to. Now it gets interesting, right? I think we gotta check raise. Why wouldn't we check raise?
You could see how maybe our king, queen doesn't check raise. But the queen, queen just blocks so heavy that you might be able to do it, but nope. Nope.
See how it's not winning that much?
Yeah.
Clearly, we don't care that we're blocking.
Yeah.
He just, because he's loaded with
Cause
that.
he had it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we understood why, right?
Yeah.
And it just shows you that blockers are a conspiracy.
Yeah.
All right, who's next?
All right. Up next after Larry is Corey.
Corey, you ready, sir?
All right, Corey, 1, 2, 3. All right, we're moving on to, Corey can jump in at any time, but we're gonna go to skate.
Mr. Dye, are you ready, sir?
Yep. Yep,
Good
let's
luck.
do it. Thank you. All right. All right. So by default we check, but this is a flush draw board. We don't have a spade. Should we bet? I don't know. Let's take the safe route and check.
I'm gonna go for the bet.
Hmm.
Both are good.
No. So I think, you're probably thinking about it, right? Because you could do
Yep.
both. You're entirely mixed here.
Oh, this is really good.
Hmm.
This is my question.
Do we have any overbets here? Let's go
Question.
75.
75.
Maybe do we have any 120? No, we don't have overbets.
Oh.
I'm just
Oh.
guessing.
I was just
And-
watching some stuff on this type of spot. And I think in reality, I think the overbet thought is like pretty good. Because I think that a lot of guys are not going to check back a queen X hand here. So we're very likely have the best hand in real life. Like solver's good. So solver's got all sorts of crazy stuff that beats us. But they're going to have a fairly inelastic turn range. Like imagine they have pocket tens here. They're going to call like whatever we bet on the turn. So we can B125 them and they're going to call with the tens because they're going to see two flush draws out here and we check the flop. And so we can hit them, I think, with a bigger bet sizing here in real life. And target that inelastic portion of range. Like they're going to have a bunch of air balls that just fold no matter what. But like we can get max value from their marginal stuff with a bigger bet. And we can also rest pretty confident that they are not going to be able to perform well on river with that very capped range.
Yeah. Now, the solver wanted to, when you check, the solver wanted a small bet on the turn, right? And I thought it would want to go big specifically because of the two flush board. And maybe the thought process there is that you don't want, since you don't block either of them from coming in, when he has a flush draw, he's calling the big bet or the small bet, and you've bloated the pot for when he makes it. So maybe that's why you're betting small.
Yeah, I think generally, if we look at heuristics on turn, I'm not sure about double pair boards. Does anybody have a heuristic that they think
I
about?
thought we bet bigger when the second pair comes in.
I think
When-
that might,
Not second pair, when the second flush comes in.
yeah, I think that might be more true when we're in position though, than
Okay.
out here. I think our position might have something to do with this.
Yeah, it does. We're a lot more defensive. When we're
Hmm.
I
playing
also
out of
think
position
the
in
stack to
theory.
pot ratio has a lot to do with not making bigger bets here.
Yeah, you're right. It's not really necessary.
True.
Um. So you were saying with humans. An
He's calling those
adjustment,
10s.
I'm sorry?
Oh, he said, yeah, that just, you bet 125 at this pot. He's not folding the tens like the solver just did.
So the
Yeah.
argument for that is that people are overcalling here because oftentimes they're gonna feel that flush draws are a large part of your range.
Or they just think we're full of it.
Right.
Just think about like this particular board texture in general, right?
Uh-huh.
If he has a queen, like most in real life players are just always going to bet it. Like no matter, they have queen 10 here, queen 10 of clubs. They're just going to bet because they see the 9 and the queen. They think jack 10. They think straights are coming in. They think overcards. They think spades. There's a million things. And so they're not going to protect their range in the same way that solver is. And once they see it go check, check, like they would never imagine not betting a queen or better on this board texture as the out of position player. Like they wouldn't do it. So now we look bluffy and they're going to call.
Yep.
So I think it's twofold. It's A, the flop texture and their check really capped them. And B, they're going to be inelastic with the strongest portion of their range, which isn't that strong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they check, which isn't that strong because they.
Yep.
Check flop and they are going to bet their equity. They're not gonna protect their imposition checking range.
Now,
Right.
when we do that, so we bet 125 here and he calls with his pocket tens. The river comes the ace of spades, which we have every reason to check. And at that point, we've turned our hand face up in a sense of saying, we don't like the ace particularly, we don't like the spades. And that might give the 10-10 with the 10 of spades license to bet, and we've got to just be aware of that and sometimes not fold.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the 125, the thing the 125 did that was good was it got value from the 10-10, and the thing that was bad was it bloated the pot such that when a scare card comes in and we check it, we're gonna get blasted often.
Yes.
I don't know. Do you think an in real life player is going to blast off their tens when the ace of spades hits? I don't think a lot of guys are going to turn tens into a bluff.
Well, most no, not most.
We have seen it in our Monday reviews. You know, we've seen
I mean, it may happen,
the
but I think
less often in 3-bet pots, yeah.
I think it's going to be much rarer.
Because
Yeah.
the ace does hit our range, but this flush doesn't, you know, and are we gonna fold our pocket kings? We don't have kings there. Okay. Basically, are we gonna fold ace, king and ace jack to his bet? Cause that's a sensible thing for me to have, or a queen. All right, Leanne is up.
Alright, let's look at the pre-flop ranges before we go to the next
Okay.
hand, just so you guys have them. So we've got a very wide 3-bet range against these late positions. Just for anybody who came late, we're the 3-better in the small blind versus a call from button or cutoff. We're taking a post flop. So just keep in mind, this is what the shape of our range. One way to think about this is where are the cutoffs, I guess. And our lowest suited card is 10x. And our lowest offsuit card is Jack X. And then, of course, we're gonna have our bluffs over here. What does he call? Let's just look at this example. Range call. He's playing a pretty condensed range, right? So he's got 38 combos that he's playing. Because he's gonna properly 4-bet in this area, including queen jack suited. So does he? No, he folds queen jack suited, sorry. So yeah, so the big thing to think about when we're going through this is the great majority of his hands in this area.
With the
the
ace queen,
suited
with-
broadways.
And the
Yeah.
ace queen and ace king, because remember, there's 3 times as many of those. So they're in there.
Sorry, say it again.
The ace king and ace queen offsuit that look small are 3 times larger than that. So they're comparable. So he
Yeah.
has a comparable amount of ace queen offsuit to king queen suited. So that's the bulk of his range,
There's 4 combos here.
right?
And he's calling this 12% of the time. What's 12% of 12?
12% of 12 is 1.5 combos.
Okay, 1.5 combos. So he's got
And then
1.5
queen's
combos
twice
here,
that.
1.5 combos here.
No, the queen's ace queen is twice that. Ace queen is 20%.
All right, that's a valid point.
So
Okay.
just comparable.
So those are our pre-flop ranges that we're working on.
Yeah.
All right,
Leanne,
Ian, are you ready? Welcome to the study session.
Great, okay.
Okay, we're on a timer today. Nice flop.
I was the last one to raise pre-flop, right?
yep, you 3
You 3-bet, he called.
I think I'll bet, 33. Yes,
Love it.
Nailed it. Look, notice we're betting this entire range on this texture. And this is kind of similar to what we saw a couple weeks ago when we were working on SRPs where we're playing out of position. We really love this texture in an SRP too.
that's what I was recognizing. Okay.
Yeah, so we see a heuristic that goes across 3-bet pots and SRPs here.
Um. He could have a 9, but whatever, I'm gonna bet again. I'll bet 50. No,
So I'm
More
not
agree.
I'm surprised we're not as concerned about this 9. He just must not have 11 nines in his. Well, we know he doesn't have 11 nines, right? Let's think about what his 3-bet calling range is. Which we just looked at. He just has 10-9 and then nines.
And he has plenty of king to go.
Yeah, and he has a lot lesser kings.
Ooh.
well. I've got that king of diamonds there, so, I don't know, it's between a check or a small bet. Let's try bet, 36. But
I'm
it could be-
jamming. Good luck.
All the cookies. Oh,
No,
36.
Oh.
wrong.
I
Leanne nailed it.
misclicked. Yeah, he nailed it. I
Nailed it.
thought this would be. I thought we wouldn't use this size because of the SRP. SPR, but it likes this size. It just wants to get value from all its lesser kings. And we can't, well, it's up to you.
But what does, SPR have to do with it? We're on the river. I mean, we either get a little bit more or we don't.
Because, my thought is that it's very hard to fold here because of the pot odds you're being offered. You only have. You have to put in. We ran out of time.
By talking during that, you didn't let Leanne get her last point.
I guess I should have let her
Yeah.
make her
Get it right.
choice and then responded to her question. You're right, Scotty.
Yes, Leanne, were you calling or folding on the river?
Oh, he re-raised. I didn't even see
Yeah,
that.
you jammed. What do you want to do?
I don't
cover
think
the
I have
screen.
any choice but to call.
Good. All right.
Cause there's
Go
only
on.
30 more.
Yep.
Yeah,
I-
that was my point about why I was surprised we have a small bet. Because when he jams, you're committed.
That's true.
Oh,
All right. After Leanne is Arturus. Yeah, and I thought we just jammed the river. I didn't think that we.
yeah, I didn't think we'd use a small size.
I totally see your point, yeah. If I bet small, I'm only gonna win small, but I could lose big.
Right,
Let's see if we do have, out of
But the
curiosity,
solver
let's
doesn't do
see what
that.
our folding range is there when we, so we bet a B36. How often do we use that size?
is it just this one combo? No,
It's very rare. It's just this, it is actually just this one. It's king, queen off and ace, queen off. It's super rare to use this.
Yeah.
Either small bet, check, or all in.
right.
So do we get to fold anything when he shoves?
Maybe the king, queen and call the ace king?
So we're over folding, right? So our pot odds are 14% and we're folding 34%.
We fold the ace king if we don't have a diamond. Click on the folds.
That does make sort of sense to me, because, well, actually, I was considering the diamond before I bet it to begin
Yeah.
with. I might have checked without a diamond.
That is, well, let's see what, yeah, I think we're all surprised by this. It just,
Yeah.
it kind of defies our concept of pot odds here.
Yeah. Fold your
Um,
ace four and your ace five. That makes sense. Those were pure bluffs.
and it's a significant dog. We just wanna, yeah, we wanna block the diamonds. That's interesting.
The seven,
his shoving range?
the 7-6 call, what is this 7-6? Oh, 7-6 suited is the diamonds. There we go. Those are our diamonds.
But if we go back to the original bet there, that 36% bet,
Mhm.
if you don't have the diamond, like, if you go back to the first bet after the 3 comes up, is he still gonna bet without a diamond? I was betting it because I had the diamond, so I wasn't so worried that they had a flush.
So your question is, what is the shoving range?
No, no,
No,
us.
back at just after the 3 came up and the small blind is betting.
Yeah.
What's the bet without the diamond?
Go roll over ace king. Hands like that.
Ace, king, yeah.
They mostly don't, but the heart club does it some. The spade club does it all the time,
Oh,
you know?
because I was thinking, I even said, oh, I've got that king of diamonds, so I'm not as
Yeah.
worried. But they do bet it still sometimes, even without that.
Yeah. Interesting hand.
I wasn't all that worried by the river about that 9, because he might have raised when I bet the turn.
All right.
And he
Any
never
other
has-
questions about this hand?
He,
Moving
and I
on.
want to point out, he never has a full house. He has, because he's bet, he didn't slow play any kings, right? Pocket kings?
He never so plays kings.
Right.
No,
Uh,
he has quads. He never has a full house.
Yeah.
All right. All right, after Leanne is Arturus.
Okay.
Course running hot.
Range bet, as I understand. B33 we can choose, or B50.
Be 50 this one, but no.
Yeah, range bet.
Yeah, we just saw in previous hand, but it was rainbow and good shot. Huge polarization here. I assume. Yeah, should be. Like
You got
yeah,
beep beep.
B75. Let's go. But I will check.
Yeah, we can do anything.
Right, you did 75, which is good, and 50
That's
was
just
one, I think.
yeah, we jump. We cannot check, I think. Russell, very little checking on the turn, to be honest.
Oh, nice. And you got
He
75.
called the B75 with his double gutter.
Right, you got him with that. Good job.
Does he call a double gutter to that size all the time?
Yes,
Clear call.
oh,
In position.
Richie is up.
Pot odds are 30%, but
Hello. How are
he's
you all?
gonna realize his equity fully, so he calls.
Hmm.
Alright, Richie, you ready?
Go for it. What are we? There was a small blind. With two overcards. I would probably, yeah. I would so we've called the button, have we? Wait there.
We three bet.
Or have we no, we three bet and then the button's called us. Okay, yeah. So I would lead here for 33%.
Just made it
Just-
in.
Oh, checked.
I thought we were gonna bet here too, because these twos and threes mostly miss him, but. This is kind of the
Yeah.
situation where, you can see the global. Oops, you can see the global percentages here, guys, just a reminder. So this is a classic heavy check. If we bet big board.
So
Um,
was I right? We are the pre-flop aggressor, right? And then they've
Yes,
called our three bet. I'm just
Yeah.
still quite surprised. I thought this would be, seems we have quite a lot of overpairs in this. I thought we would be betting here, and yes, they could have twos in their range and threes.
but mainly they just
Um,
have other pair, mainly when, mainly their value is not the two or the three, it's just their pairs.
hmm,
So
but in theory, we should have higher pairs than them
Yes.
more often, right? Like we both have pairs.
Yes.
Fair.
but we are in the widest three betting position in the game. Right?
Yes, that's true.
So we're gonna have a lot more. So like here, you can see up top, so what's happening pre-flop is that we are three betting them and they're calling.
Okay.
That's where we are here. Let's just continue. Solver is unbroken.
Yeah, and Dominic points out that they don't have twos or threes in their range, which they don't. We're not worried about full houses and trips here. We're only, it's only our bigger pairs, which are a smaller part of a smaller percentage of our range compared to their middle pairs. Which are
Okay.
part of the tighter range. That's what the fight is. It's the pair versus pair fight here.
Well, if we checked before,
BB,
Okay,
so we're
never mind.
going on the
You-
bait this week.
Make your decision. I
Huge.
shouldn't have been talking.
Yeah, bet 50. Just quick one. That was a snap one. I was going to
Alright.
check.
Gotta
Only
check.
because we had done the bet on the flop on the pre-flop, but yeah, okay. And so
What an
now we've
interesting
hit
turn.
the straight up.
River,
On the river, it's tough. They followed us this far. They could have the over for the straight, isn't it? So I guess it's a check here, as well as obviously other
Block bet.
situations for a
block
small bet.
And sorry for talking during your timing. I should have done that.
I've got some
Yeah,
kind
no
of
problem.
spirit. Can you guys see the purple circle over here?
Yep, we see it.
Yeah.
I don't know why that happened. Let's see if I can get rid of it.
it was me. I don't know. It just disappears after some time.
There we go. So
So one
Okay.
question I have on this one then, on the actual original flop, does the suits we have in our hand compared to the suits on the board reflect if we're checking or betting more?
Let's take a look.
It will. If we had a spade, that ace jack, I think will bet
Or
more.
bet? Yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you have that ace of spades, okay.
huge difference. Huge
There's also
difference.
something I'm kind of curious about here. Down and dirty ag report here on this texture.
Is that really an all in?
Mm,
Yeah.
yes,
What do yo?
that's really an all in.
What's an all in? Which one? Sorry, what am I missing?
Ace jack with the ace of spades.
Hmm,
And the diamond
I
in the
mean-
club. Leaving him open to have hearts.
Even did do it almost pure with the ace ten, ace spades.
Oof. That would be so disturbing to see someone do that. You would just think they were nuts.
And look, it's not, it's even low EV and check, but they just want to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, quick and dirty. I'm just curious about something. So our global check is 63%. Remember that, guys.
Okay.
Now, let's take this texture, 3 of spades, 2 of spades, 2 of diamonds. And let's raise here. Then we 3-bet. They call. It's a little bit, we bet a little bit more with this more condensed range here against under UTG. But not significantly, we still bet a lot. So about 10%, we bet 10% more.
We bet 10% more against under the gun than we did against button or other way around.
We bet 10% less, sorry. Oh, no,
Okay.
no, we bet 10% more.
Right. And the reason is because our range is so much stronger.
I think we're more condensed.
Yeah.
We're more condensed, and so we have more of an overpair advantage. Is that what I think's driving that?
So could you bet big?
Can I in the
On-
solver or
Yeah, no solver.
sure?
I just did a node as well.
Yeah.
And here, once we stop raising, because we have like whatever, a little of raising, then we can bet much more on the flop big.
We bet
Once we-
10% more.
And remember, this is this
mean-
is the larger raise against under the gun. And we
Because
did
we're
the,
more condensed.
and we
We're
did the
more condensed
33
range.
button.
We're more overpair heavy relative to our full range. That's my theory and I'm sticking with it.
But I found it interesting, that small blind with the ace jack could go all in there on that flop, but I didn't see premium hands that he would go all in with. There was some 9s and 10s. I wouldn't really call that premium exactly.
Yeah, it's I mean, I think that's the kind of thing we see in solve. We can discard against humans. Because he's not gonna fold. Humans aren't gonna fold correctly to that behavior.
But what I mean is that normally if you're gonna do that with sort of with a bluff like that, that you would have premiums to go along with it.
Well, let's take a look at what the premium is on this board.
We had nines were doing it a ton.
I saw some 9s and 10s.
All right. Yeah, so just click the all in.
On the
It's
flop.
different.
Oh,
On the
Awesome.
flop.
flop, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Nines and tens. Balance it out.
Because remember, his
Quick-
biggest pair, those are premium. What's his biggest pair?
You mean the buttons?
Yeah. What pairs does the button have left here?
I guess you're right. Maybe.
Let's see.
They don't- They must not 4-bet jacks. They must 4-bet jacks here. Clear.
Yeah. That's why
But-
9s and 10s are premium.
Yeah. Cause he doesn't have jacks.
Right. He has a sliver of aces and so be it.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, so
And neither of you have deuces or threes.
nines and tens are the best over pairs, because he doesn't, in theory, he doesn't possess these. And that's why I would argue this is something you don't want to do against humans, right? Humans aren't going to pure four bet jacks in the button versus a three bet from small blind. Or for that matter, I think pure four bet queens. I mean, humans generally are not, they're inelastic to position.
Hmm.
Alright,
And Dominic agrees with you in chat. He says, in practice, I think they don't have aces, but they do have jack, jack, and queen, queen to some extent. Yeah. And Dominic, you're up next. So before we hit the button, we'll make sure that Dominic's is on, so he gets his full time.
Yeah, I'm here. Let's go.
We're ready.
Uh, okay. So we three bet, he calls, aces versus cutoff. Definitely not checking here for sure. The question is, I'm not sure about sizing, but the board is super dry, so I would even go like 20% in practice, but let's all go 33 here. Maybe solo is bigger, I don't know. Yeah, even everything is okay here.
super dry
apparently.
texture. No, it's not super dry, but it's pretty dry. Yeah, it's 10 jack.
Okay.
Good time.
And then on 5, I mean, the board is a little bit more wet now, still kind of dry, but definitely betting again. The question is how much? I'm not sure, either 75 or 50, but let's go with 75.
I like it.
Well played.
Great.
Remember, you're on a timer too.
Yeah, I see. And then on jacks, not that good river, honestly. Some of his stuff get there now, but for this like 48 to 100, we are just gonna get called by worse hands anyway. So I think jamming is definitely gonna be fine.
Jam and hope it's not queen, jack.
Yeah.
Ace, queen. Yay.
Stacked him. Who's next?
Nicely
Well
done.
played, sir.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So Dominic. After Dominic, we have, going to the top, we have Adam.
Did, Scott, I don't know if I stepped away. I don't know if you called on me earlier or not, but if we're back to the top, I know I didn't get a shot.
Right. You're after me. We started with Larry. So
Gotcha.
not your turn yet. You and I haven't gone yet. Jesus. Adam, you're up.
Okay, can you hear me?
Quite a flop there, buddy.
Oh yeah, we get a good one. King high flops really good for us. We're gonna bet small here. Let's go with the B20 sizing here. Definitely could be some. Definitely connects with buttons range for sure.
I wonder
So,
if we get to go bigger because he's, even though we're double blocking like we saw with my queen's hand to begin.
Mhm.
And ranges are so, maybe because ranges are so condensed. Blockers don't matter as much. So he still has all those suited kings and some suited jacks that he calls with.
Yeah.
I don't know. That may be what's driving the bigger sizing. I'm not sure. Just
Yeah,
postulating.
I mean, this is, I mean, we have all the nutted combos. Basically, our entire range is just really strong here. But he does have like connectivity here, so yeah, bigger, sure, B50, but it's not like crazy big. So
Yeah. I thought the locked up. Well, no, never mind. You hit the button already.
so this 2 is kind of a nothing burger. We had dynamic texture, so in real life, I would be less concerned about nutted combos here. But there's still plenty to get value from, I think. And certainly still draws that will continue here. I think I'm gonna go B50. All right, a little bit smaller.
And smaller or larger.
And we get this 4 brick here. I just. Can we target a hand like king, queen here? King 10, let's get it in, all of it.
Look at that.
Mm.
Surprised.
Yeah, no, I thought it was gonna be thin too, because like you named off king, queen, and that's just about it, right?
I mean, some,
Maybe king 9 if they called your 3-bet.
yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to,
Got
got
him.
We
I didn't
got
have-
him.
I didn't have that one. I guess
Yeah.
that's one.
That was another one.
Yeah,
Go back.
yeah. I
Can we
kind of
go
wondered
back-
about like if you ever had like ace king, but I also didn't think that queen 10 was really going to be a thing. It seems like even solver would play raise with queen 10 at some point in there. And it seemed also like we would have some bluffs, like combo draw type stuff that would want to go for it.
I don't know. Well, the first question is good. Is there flop straight in position raising? I'm not so sure because you took a 2E sizing on turn, which implies that you're gonna shove river.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I'm
yeah,
not
and
worried about the queen 10 at all. You know why?
in
Because
real
if
life,
bet he calls, and if I check and he jams, I'm not folding. So in both cases, I'm all in against his queen 10. It's the rest of his range.
Yeah.
You know, however he
yeah,
plays.
I mean, I think Dominic's point is a good one. Like solver probably thinks that solver believes that when it checks river, that the button is going to jam, like bet some busted draws.
Right.
And like, I think that for most of us in the games we're playing in, that's just not true.
Right.
Like, you know, the guy that has like, I don't know, ace X of spades or
Yeah.
some busted like 9-10 is not going to turn that into a bluff.
Yeah. He just says I missed.
Yeah, he just checks it back.
Right. So take a look at here when you're ready on that turn. I mean, on the river, when we check, does he jam those aces or does he check them behind? Because if he doesn't bet those aces, then I disagree with solver for all the reasons in the world.
Yeah,
We
I think
can't hear
like,
you if you're talking, Larry, we can't hear you.
no, I agree with this other comment that Dominic has here that, you know, guys see this flush draw miss and they think like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, and they just are willing to call off pretty thinly.
That's
Yeah.
a good point. Scotty, what did you want to look at?
On the river,
Mm-hmm.
let's take the solver's line and check. And take a look at what does the button do with his aces? Yeah, so I guess it doesn't matter. The button's gonna bet his aces at us and we're gonna call with our king jack, so we're gonna make the same amount of money. And the things that we're looking for here are those bluffs at the bottom. So roll over the bluffs and we'll just see how realistic we think.
Okay, well, the first thing is, let's see what percentage of, so he's got 16% of trash hands. Look at it this way. When he gets here on this line, his trash hands are these combos. And he is betting those
all of them.
pure. He's either taking a B35, B60, or all in. Now, the question I have down here, we're looking at this 16% and
Mhm.
almost pure bluff. What percentage of humans doing that? So they're taking, he is bluffing his trash 90% of the time. What are humans? What percentage do you guys think humans are?
Humans are
0.
3.
Yeah, yeah. So I think some of us will find it, but generally when we get that check out of position, I think humans are not going to find the bluff.
Yeah.
So that's going to modify our,
Yeah.
that's going to modify our strat with the top of range here, right?
Mhm.
So if we look at top of range here, up here, like, so this is our straights, which is unblocking. That makes sense. We're going to our sets, but then we get down to our combos, top two, which have 80% equity. If we check these, they're going to check back. So the modification I would make against humans is what we're talking about is
Yeah.
this part of the range, we need to value back.
I agree.
Okay, anything else you guys want to see?
I'm up.
Alright, Scotty, good luck.
Alright. Queen, queen. Oh, I have to bet this because I'm betting range on this board, so I'll bet 33. But I really want to check it. But I'm gonna bet it. Oh, just bet it, just bet smaller.
We
Okay,
do have a 33. We mostly beat 20. I mean, it might have to do with connectivity here.
I didn't bet range.
I'm not sure.
Is it? Because the naked king didn't. Okay, so there we go. I didn't break solver though. I bet 33. I got called. Screw this guy. I'm gonna bet 75 and 50, and I'm gonna choose 75 this time. Screw that.
So this is about, we're checking 80% of range when the
Yeah.
equity completes.
Right.
It's surprising that, what's our equity here? What do you guys think? What do you guess our equity is with queens here? On
Percent.
a straighty board. I'm sorry, I didn't hear it, Scotty.
90.
I think it's gonna be lower. I think it's gonna be like 70.
90.
76. 77.
Mhm.
Okay.
Cause you've got a filtered range that, and some of those straights now completed.
Yeah.
I'll just change it to check and we'll go from there.
Oh, I guess I have to. Yeah. Yeah, I have to. I want to continue on. Check. He checks behind.
What a river.
All right. He has nothing here is my problem. This is that's the tension. All right. We're about to do a B35 and a B10 to try to get him to spaz. So we're gonna go 35, try to get called by something. Nope.
Do it, solver. It's like.
Spaz, ace jack. I didn't even get value from ace jack. All right, so I lost 3 points and got more money from ace jack if it. So here's the only thing I want to look at. On the turn, did the ace jack call my mistake? If it did, screw you, solver. I made more money. I lost points, I made money. So just that's all I want to see.
So you wanna see what happens if on turn,
Right, I bet 75.
I don't know if you're taking that size.
With anything. I just need something.
You are taking that size.
Good. There we go. I did. So I took that size. And what does he do with his ace jack?
Mixes. Mostly
Mixes.
folds.
I didn't see what his suit was. Okay. All right, good enough. Up next is Mike.
Good luck, Mike.
See if I can run good. Ooh. Well, we know we're gonna be checking a lot and betting a lot. This has kind of got that tension. But I'm checking now. This hand likes to check. We
Hello.
are running good today, everybody. I bet this wants to check sometimes, and I bet it wants to bet small as well. Probably not big. I'm gonna take a line. I'm gonna take the check line.
Oh, sorry, that was a misclick on my part. Yeah, it checks sometimes.
Yeah, check or bet small. I chose the check line just to kind of, I don't know, protect the checking range a little bit here. Okay, now we can, I think we have impunity now at this point. We seem to be pretty hidden here. I don't think we can jam. That seems like too much of an overbet. Let's go with the B60. No, B88. B88. Oh, it was neither.
What was it? Was jam and
I think
The 88. It wants to
it
shove.
wants to go
shove
overbet.
or 150?
Mhm.
That's what it is.
It doesn't care. It's like, I don't know. So the question I have, so this is like,
I thought our SPR was just too big for the jam, but
this is the carrot corner theorem. Axiom, if you will, multitude trumps frequency. Which begs the question. In theory. If we shove 352% a pot, which we're doing with just these combos. It's 3%. So it's hard to find this first. This is a very unlikely line. His pot odds are 43% and he's folding 85%. But that's enough for it to be profitable. The calls are enough for it to be profitable. He's calling with. He calls enough with like ace nine. Ace five gets in there, ace five. He calls enough with, well, he's calling with this. He calls enough here in this region for it to be profitable. Ace jack, ace five. He calls enough pairs of aces for it to be profitable. Multitude. Trumps frequency. All right. Next victim, Scotty.
Next one is, Larry, you're back up again.
Okay.
And
Good luck
before you
me.
hit the button on this, I struggle with this exact situation here. The magnitude and frequency question. 'Cause
Magnitude, that's it.
I
I said
say,
multitude.
he
Magnitude.
has, yeah, but I didn't correct you about that. I just corrected you on begs the question. But he has nothing. He has nothing. I need to get called by pocket sevens or a king 10. I need to
Well,
bet
you know,
one chip.
let's dive a little bit into EV, right? So then the question becomes, with our combo specifically, which was queen jack of spades.
Yeah.
Let's look at the EV difference. Maybe it's
You
not
don't
a
even have a
lot.
queen.
So the question is queen jack. We love the shove here. This is not common. Like, it looks like with like we're doing it too with king, queen. A little bit, but this one just really loves. What is the EV difference? It's really close.
Yeah.
So like, I would argue the B150, I mean, it would consider the B88 a mistake. That's enough for it in its head for it to be different, but the
Yeah.
shove and the B150 aren't that different.
Yep.
In solver land.
And the check because he bet because maybe he finally bluffs.
Yeah, and he's got checks in there.
Yeah. Because we did check. Somebody's gonna take it. Somebody's gonna take a shot for 6 big blinds.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Interesting strat.
But not the guy who went check. All right, Larry, you're up.
Okay. Nice hand. In theory, do we get checks? We do. We love the check.
What did you do? You bet and got a point. Okay.
5% frequency.
Okay.
He calls. Find the trap. This, Artoris, these are the traps I was talking about yesterday. We do find them. Just not in the hand that you pointed out.
Oof,
I didn't hear you. What did you say?
I don't know. I'm thinking.
Okay.
I need to add them. I don't have enough of them.
Well, yeah, they're there. So now we're really motivated to get money in. And so I think we check raise here. I don't think we shove. We trap here. This is surprising
Trap.
because we are now depending on him to put money in on river. on his B50. I would say this is a bad play against humans. You're now asking humans to put money in on river.
I don't think so. I think this is a good play against humans, and here's why. What they're saying is tell a consistent story. When you check raise there, you tried to get him to bluff and to bet thin value. He's gonna fold both to your check raise. You have the board so locked up, and if he's not going, and on the hands that
What
he
about
does,
his flush
he's
draws?
gonna bet them on the river. Yeah.
We
there's
have
the
check
flush draw
raises,
part of it.
but.
Yeah.
We have check raises.
But I think that the solver is once you make, when you choose the check line, you tell the check story.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh,
It's close.
Now we'll see if you ever bet out on the river.
Yeah.
When you take this line. Ready to check behind? Bad.
Didn't turn.
yeah.
Look, he doesn't
But
have,
yeah, he
when
would've
that
called.
bear,
This is the
that
one
board
where-
pairs. Does he have any, what are his bets? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, this is one where had you bet the turn, had you check raised the turn small, you would have gotten called.
Yeah,
This was a good counterexample to the solver and to all that.
he's mostly betting, in theory. Okay. Yeah, I think I prefer check raise there. I understand your point about telling a consistent story. That's valid, but. Yeah, this just happens to be one of the.
what do we
hands where
think
we
of
bet.
just don't have any value in the check note on the turn?
I'm sorry, can you say it again?
What do you think about betting like all queen X, whatever? I don't know, or free betting range. I see it's
On
and-
turn or flop?
yeah on the turn to bet king queen plus and kings plus to bet and all sets. Maybe except some queens. Because I don't know if population is betting enough on the turn. At least in MTTs.
We're mostly betting top pair. We're checking it sometimes. It seems pretty, strongly kicker driven.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So that's pretty much what I will play in game.
Yeah,
Except this queen I bet as well.
like it's worse queens, it's checking. And the size also seems to be. Yeah, you can kind of see it here. It's mixing, but notice it's checking, it's betting small with its flush draw plus top pair. But these unblocking his flush draws, it wants to bet big, over bets. King, queen, small bet. King, queen, spade, small bet. Does that answer your question, Artoris?
what sets are checking?
I'm sorry,
What sets are checking?
what sets are
What
checking?
sets are checking?
Yeah,
What sets are checking?
queens obviously and
Yeah.
oh we don't have any oversets. Okay.
Well, we have the queens, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
The dot sliver of sixes.
Okay, who's next?
Up next is skate.
Skate, are you ready, sir?
I am ready.
I need you to, please respond to this entire quiz in Louis' voice.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I'm not that good with imitations. So I'm gonna use my normal voice.
You got a timer.
Check. Yeah, we could check. We have the best king. We have an overpair ace. Let's check.
I think
We're
you're gonna
betting
bet here.
range. We're betting range. No,
Oh, you get it.
nicely done. I was
We're
wrong.
betting quite a bit here. You're protecting our checking range quite nicely. Question I would have here is, how much do we, so this is like disconnected rainbow. So our heuristic is telling us that we bet here. Which is mostly the case. It's not a
I thought
range.
That board was supposed to bet 33 and it suggested 50.
Yeah, I mean. Heuristics in solver are not clear. I mean, it's not, nothing in solver, nothing in poker is always are consistent. You're always gonna have exceptions.
Oh, man.
I know, I know. But I think, we're humans, so I think it's best that we just go with the heuristics that we pick up. And understand that sometimes, and you know what? Very quickly, I would recommend you guys watch, once again, Ike Haxton and Jonathan Jaffe. Ike Haxton makes some very good points about solver. Bet sizing choices. So our top pair is mostly betting here, but it is protecting a checking range a little bit. Okay, checking's fine, dude.
And you went for
Good luck, skate.
33 and 50 of the sizes.
Check, check.
Okay. Alright, they can't have king, queen. We block that in a way. But blockers are a myth, right? Let's bet 50.
Good.
You're in.
Most common one is the small one.
Overbet.
125.
Overbet. And smaller. It likes both of them, but this is good.
Okay.
Folds is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are bet sizes to choose
Yeah.
this on turn.
Yeah, he likes most the 33 and the 125 targeting different parts of the opponent's range.
It's hard to find these overbets. You know who's really good at this stuff? Is CG, the poker streamer. He knows where solver, he plays a pure solver game on stream. He knows where the overbets are.
And
It's
set head.
interesting
And I'm
because
jelly.
when, we bet on the flop and he called. Personally, at that point in real life, I'd be like targeting king, queen. And now the queen comes up.
Yeah, I see your point. Well, I think that generally, I think that if we're going to put someone on the hand, it makes more sense in 3-bet pot with condensed range. But I don't know if that's going to benefit
Not so
long
much
term.
put them on a hand, obviously we're playing a range, but what I mean is a target hand that I'm beating. They could be less than that, they could be 8, 7 or something, but the king, queen is the target hand that I'm gonna be sizing towards
I
for the
see.
rest of the hand.
Right,
I see.
so
Yeah.
Leon, are you saying that when you bet the flop and the turn comes, you now eliminate, I don't have any big bets left now. I might still bet, but I'm not gonna bet big on the turn if I bet big on the flop.
That's the way I would feel. I would
Right.
still bet, but yes, that's the way I would feel, but they obviously overbet, so I guess I was wrong, but that is how I would be thinking.
No, this was after a check. We didn't bet the flop.
Oh, interesting, yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
let's
So,
look, if you take your line, let's bet the flop instead.
so one theory here that Peter Clark mentions is that after we choose to protect flop like this, he has this concept of recapturing EV that we lost because we didn't bet. And that is his argument as to why we see overbets here.
Right.
Right, that makes complete sense. On that line, actually, I had forgotten the fact that we checked.
Yeah.
What would happen if can we see what would happen if we had bet on the flop?
Okay,
Yes.
but the other thing I want to look at is do a little combinatorics here. Cause that's the way we roll. This is combinatorics Tuesday. My first question is, cause I don't remember. Pre-flop. So this is important. So this is important in theory land. He has just slivers, king, queen off. Right? He's got 1.2 combos of king, queen off out of 12. Because he's calling just 10%. Now let's do a little combinatorics game here.
Plus 4 king, queen suiteds. But he only has 2 king, queen suiteds left. And we have a king.
Why are you stealing my thunder, buddy?
What? Sorry.
I'm just kidding. So here, when we get the queen and we've got ace king, there's only 2 combos of king queen suited left. So that significantly reduces his king queen. Oh, there's only one combo
One
of king
combo
queen suited left.
Yep.
So that's one thing to think about. I knew I was gonna make a good
Okay,
point,
but do you think in real life, after the button raised and I re-raise, that he would re-raise again with king, queen, or just call? I think he'd call.
I don't know. don't know.
I think, yeah, I think call. Yeah.
So. What else did you wanna look at here?
Just what
what-
would happen if we had bet on the flop and then that turn came, what our bet size would be?
Alright, so top pair. We mostly choose, you wanna put a B33 or B50, we mix them both. Let's say B33, I think that's what most of us are gonna use here. So we pair 33. He calls, we get the queen of,
Diamond.
and then with our top pair. We are now, these are our bet size choices.
Okay, so the biggest one is now 75, no 125.
Right.
Lower
but the
bets now.
percent frequency is that 50%.
Mike mentions this a lot here, which I think is good insight. A lot of it has to do with SPR, right? When we check and then he checks, our SPR is a lot bigger than if we bet and he calls.
Mhm.
Right,
Our
we have-
SPR is 2 now.
yeah.
So that affects a lot of what our sizing is as compared to what you saw. Okay, who's next, Scotty?
Okay, up next is Arturus. No, I'm sorry, up next is Leanne. Leanne was talking but didn't get any points. Leanne is
Oh, wait.
next.
Okay,
That was Skate.
skate. Skate's in. This is Skate's hand, right?
Yep.
You
This
gotta
was
fold
hand-
skate. Next hand.
Next hand is Leanne.
Leanne. Okay, I'm back in the game. Alright, Leanne, you got an overpair.
Okay, that's just great. I'm gonna check for now and I'm ready for him.
Okay, he didn't wanna
Oh,
break
you
the
really need
solver,
to
but
bet big.
it wants to bet big here.
Oh, man, I was gonna check raise. Okay,
I guess because we don't have a spade or a heart. Has something to do with it.
Yeah, you might
I
be
think we're
fine.
betting all our kings. Looks like,
Okay.
we might change our sizing.
I was just thinking he
Need a
could easily
spade.
bet on that flop, potentially.
Yeah, you basically need a spade to play that game.
Yeah,
Spade, okay.
That's interesting because I was thinking part of what he might bet would be spades.
this is interesting. Yeah, this holds. We check more with the spade aces too.
Yeah.
Interesting. Alright. Okay,
Alright,
But you didn't
um,
break the solver. Take
yeah,
your,
I didn't big solver.
for this
You
line.
check. He checks.
okay, well, now I do have to do that, is maybe that catch-up thing applies here. So I should bet 75 or 125, I would think. Maybe 125, but I'm scared he's just gonna fold.
Nailed it, Leanne, nailed it.
So good.
Oh.
He doesn't have straights.
That's what I was thinking of, like 9-10, but. Alright, then I guess I'll bet again based on what you just said, but I was thinking of straights, but.
How much?
Beep, beep.
Okay, 35.
I'm jamming.
I actually got it right.
Nailed it.
You
Oh,
nailed it. So, this is a good example of using that B125.
Right, once I didn't bet on the flop. That's so interesting, I just all day would have thought that that's a flop that I check on, Jack 7-3 with 2 spades there.
The other interesting thing is that, he's calling it because he doesn't care. He's got, his implied odds are a lot greater in position. Because just the nature of being in position, that he wants to call that size. So what is
Yeah,
that? It's gonna
it
be like a
And he was just calling with
35.
the
It's like
fours in
a,
the flush draw, 125.
so here it's like a 35% equity, I think, around there. 35% pot odds. And you be 125. Yeah, 35% pot odds. And he is, let's just see what he's doing with all his flushes here. All his flush draws. Flush draw nuts, flush draw.
He folds some.
Yeah, he folds some, but mostly calling. I mean, it's a surprising amount. So we all know he's 18% to hit. But and also these are 2 overs. That probably has to do with it too.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting to see what this hand class is calling to this over bet size. Also because we don't see it a lot in game, right? But we see what's going on here. Okay.
Hey, Larry.
Yeah.
Clear the filter, show every hand that calls the overbet.
Should we look at the threshold, Mike?
Oh yeah, that's a good way to see it.
This is where it gets interesting to me, right? Because now we see the implied odds. I think this demonstrates implied odds quite nicely. These are our implied odd hands. Right down here. Because our equity is 30%. The pot odds being offered are 35. But we're calling. Because we've got all the implied odds down here. It's like the
8-9 of
open
diamonds.
enders.
8-9 of diamonds. Wow. Just open-ended is enough.
Yeah. I mean, this is important to see. I mean, the question I have for you guys, does this make sense against a human? What do you guys think? I'm not sure.
I think the overbet eliminates a lot of draws. I think guys will call to a certain point, and I think once you start going over pot, it starts to eliminate drawing hands from the range.
Another way to put it is, Sutton, if you're in position here with this hand class, 9-8, 9-8, 10-9, 9-8, that's a combo draw. In game, do you call your draws here?
If a guy would over pot bet,
yeah,
I would not, because you just see it very rarely. And I would interpret that if a guy went, well, so this is check and then overbet. Yeah, I would be, the overbet is generally, I'm pretty suspicious of.
So my only question is,
Suspicious value.
my only question is, with this overbet, is it better to call these implied odds hands? Because when you do hit 18% of the time or whatever, your implied odds are fully realized because he's in love with his hand. He has aces or kings.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of an interesting thought because it kind of hinges on whether or not you respect the player that you're playing against. When he checks in the small blind, he 3-bets and then he checks. Like, do you expect that he is able to find reasonable checks that are strong hands?
Yeah.
And then to come out and do this, or is he just kind of capped and now he's like, well, I'm going to try to bluff since I don't have a good hand and this guy checked behind me.
Or I have pocket, or I have exactly pocket tens.
Yeah. Yeah. Does he do that sort of thing with pocket tens? Cause he doesn't know what to do now.
Jack, now my tens are good.
Yeah.
Or 9s or 8s being the.
So at this size, our king 10 is indifferent. Queen 10 is different. 10-9 is a pure gutter and a flush draw.
No, it's 10-9.
10-9 is a straight.
10-9 is already straight.
Oh, you're right. I'm misreading.
On the river.
Oh, no, it's on the river, not on the turn. We're on the
Oh,
turn,
okay.
guys.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
You're making me paranoid.
Sorry.
I'm even worse at straights than I thought I was. Yeah, this is pair plus draw. Okay,
And then I want
these
to point
ace
out,
high, those are pure.
Arturis says about the overbet on that, the overbet on the turn. He says, that's how I play in MTTs. I always overbet in the check after the check node when he RFIs. To
At,
put people in that
at what
spot.
stack depth, Arturis, or all of them?
When you're uncapped and they're capped, you always overbet turn. You can block if it's a spade on the turn, you can sometimes block. Like if it's 6 of spades and you're out of position like here, you can sometimes block. But generally you always overbet and once you uncapped.
Cool, okay, let's just see. Yeah, so king, queen with the two overs, that is. That is not so sure about it. Ace ten. It's, this is EV, it's pure. Two overs, it's no brainer. Okay. Deep dive completed, thank you guys.
And the 8-9 with the straight draw
Yeah, and the 8-9, it's straight draw,
is really high. Okay,
yeah.
there we go. All right. Arturis is up, I believe. Yes. Getting ready to overbet the turn after check.
Okay, Arturis, you're on a timer, sir.
I don't even know what sizing is supposed to do, like B50, but we check him. I think king jack just checks.
I think it's probably check.
Just give up on the flop.
Nice.
We need a spade here. Look real quick. Yeah, we need a spade.
Yep.
Okay, check.
I don't continue. That's it, I'm done, I'm out.
Well played, Arturis, well played. This one folds, sir.
You fold to that size. Yes, set jerk. All right, Richie is up.
Richie,
Hello.
are you ready, sir?
Yeah, all ready. I'd check this just for range and because we don't have any suits. Well, we have the middle suited for the ace, but yeah, I'd check this.
Definitely in there.
Bet 20.
The bet is small when you bet. Bite is tiny when you bet it. 20%.
Alright. Very quickly, I'm curious where our threshold is with top pair here. I would assume it's gonna be very, very, kicker driven.
It is.
Look how beautifully linear that is. It's a little different on this size. We overbet here. It's interesting. We overbet without the spade. That is interesting. Okay, very linear. Our betting is very linear. And we've got one of our worst aces here.
I'd go for a third pot bet here. Starting getting some value now, as well as blocker.
Close,
Check.
close. We didn't break it. Close, but we're,
Okay,
you're in the
Oh,
right
yeah.
ballpark, dude.
I was so wrong.
20%. Yeah. 20% or check, fam.
What a river.
It's a bit odd now because obviously we did a low action on the turn, but obviously with that now favoring us, we would still want to bet here. So we would go probably,
Timer.
I'm gonna go 86%.
Again,
Oh, 10%.
I think you played this well. I mean, look at the EV difference. It's not that much.
Okay.
And I would refer you to iCaxton on sizing and solver. Ah,
And then call.
what
Oh,
a
nice.
bluff.
Wow. Wow.
Interesting. Okay, who's next?
I just want to point out Richie's huge moral victory over the solver.
That's a, yes, one that is a rare occurrence for all of us.
Yes.
pause for a moment and celebrate this
Yeah.
victory over solver.
But I thought on the turn, we should be betting big because we should be doing the recapture.
I think there might be an argument that we're in a low frequency part of the decision tree.
Okay, because our first check was, but oh no,
So my
wait a minute, did we check?
my thoughts are that we've checked and we've kept in like lower pairs, etc., and by us betting small, we're still keeping in those lower pairs or the ones chasing the draws that we're trying to gain value off, right? Because if we bet bigger on the flop, we're condensing their range where we've kept in the worst part of their range, right? If we suddenly bet big again, we're going to condense their range. And because of the pot odds and size, and because it's already a flat flop, we can still get decent value if it improves, which we did, or it's still a medium-sized pot if it doesn't improve and we've kind of pot controlled a bit. So we're leaving ourselves open in both directions, right?
Right, yeah. Mike says I think the same thing, just in different words. He says, I don't think we're recapturing with the bottom of our range. And I guess my misunderstanding is that I thought that ace 10 is no longer the bottom of our range after it goes check, check.
That's a valid point.
But it's not because solver protects its range. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. But still,
Notice also
not bottom of range, bottom of like our value.
yeah, no, I meant that. But yeah, but I didn't think that it was bottom of our value anymore. Relative to him, but that's not how I should be thinking about it. But either way, Richie chose one of the only lines that gets the solver all in on the river with his queen 10. So
notice also that solver check back. It's flush draw here. Which it's doing mostly. It's betting, it looks like it bets more with it's not flush draw. With these queens, it's just mixing pure. Another human question. Do humans on this button with this hand class here and a 3-bet pot when they're check 2 on flop, do they check back or do they bet?
passive ones check back.
Okay. I would probably, my attitude would be, well, my approach, I guess, would be I am going to bet small because I can call a check raise.
Mhm.
Which it's obviously mixing. Okay,
And let put in a bet small there and see, do we check raise ace 10 there or do we just check call it? What do we think of ace 10 after we've been bet at?
okay, good question. So,
With no spades, you probably just call it, right? If you have a 10 of
Check.
spades, you potentially raise it.
so let's say that, so he had queen 10. Let's just use queen 10 as an example, clear. Whoops, we don't want to do that. Here, small blind check, here, small blind here. Queen 10, you have queen
Most
10,
common size is
B50.
B50.
It has B33,
he
that's what. I'm gonna use a B33 here, guys.
Okay.
B33. And so the question now is where, so he does check raise without, it does check raise some here in the suited combo where he wants to end the hand because he can't really improve. Unless, he lock boxes, but the ace 10 with the spade, with the 10 of spades, mostly calls.
But even without it, but the ace of clubs, 10 of diamonds is the functional equivalent of the ace 10 of diamonds, and he doesn't do it, interestingly enough.
He also doesn't do it with the back door. Yeah. Okay. Should we move on?
It's here. Yes, our next, so ASDF, on the next one, you'll see what we're doing here. You're gonna play our little game if you want to. Dominic is up next because that was Richie who just went. So the situation is this, the button raised, you're in the small blind, you 3-bet, the button called, and then you get this flop. What do you want to do? And Dominic's gonna show you how we do it. And there's a timer also. Good point.
Okay, good luck, guys.
And we
luck,
make fun
Dominic.
of your grammar if it's wrong, but not of your poker.
Dominic, are you ready, sir?
I'm clicking the ask to unmute. We'll see if Dominic is here. Dominic, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, Dominic, jump in if you got it. We're gonna go to Adam and then we'll jump in with ASDF. Adam, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Adam's in.
Ooh, low board texture here. I think we did a lot. We saw that 3-3 deuce one earlier. So I think we're gonna do a lot of checking here. We don't have a spade. I think we just check.
Well played, sir.
Yeah, we and 40% checks here for the range.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we just really want a spade if we're gonna make this happen. I think in real life, I am checking and then I get a lot of information. Because like this is like kind of a dynamic board in the sense that it offers possible straights and flushes that I think cutoff is going to be pretty transparent with their range about in real life.
In game, are you also checking with a spade or are you betting?
If I have a single spade hand, I am probably going to check and evaluate.
Got it. Okay, check. What a turn.
Well, that's a lovely little turn there. I'm going to size up here since this was a dynamic board. In real life, I'm going to assume that caps the range of the in position player. I think B75. Ooh.
You're in there.
Nice.
Yep, smaller though. Smaller though.
So I always have a question about these where like the EV is actually a bit higher.
Hang on, I'm ASDF.
He's on a timer.
Sorry,
He'll
I'm
answer
on the
in a
timer.
sec.
You
Oh,
can get the
sorry.
question in after. Hang on, just 1 sec. We got 4 to a flush and it makes it with the ace. I would think there would be ace high floats here in large quantities. God, I hate this. I'm gonna check. Yeah, or
Yeah,
bet,
it's the
bet
blocker.
with the block. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. All right,
Okay.
ASDF, you were saying.
Okay, yeah, sorry to interrupt, but so I actually always kind of have this quandary myself where I'm looking at like solver outputs, and sometimes what they say is the ideal choice will be lower in EV than like the optimal choice, or even something that you're not supposed to do. So it's almost just, I guess, trying to figure out why they specifically prefer a lower EV action over something that would be higher. I mean, obviously we're talking about like percentage points, so it's like, you know, marginal and stuff.
We have a perfect answer for you and you're gonna see it now.
Awesome.
Here it comes. Who wants to tell the story? Larry or who wants to tell the story of Nash distances?
Oh, that's all Larry.
Okay,
Okay.
Larry. I thought you were actually going to the Nash distance page when you went to there. Yeah.
I'm actually going to it on a different,
in a different
off
window.
stream, so
Okay.
I can put it in chat.
Yeah.
So the concept is that I just put a link to a blog you can read. So that usually that happens when we're in a part of the decision tree that isn't fully solved. Sometimes it's like the road less traveled. Sometimes you'll go down a path within the decision tree. You could think of the solver and poker as a decision tree where you go down different routes. Sometimes those routes are very rare. And if that happens, in order to save computational effort, it won't solve to the same level of, I think it's called
Precision.
exploitation.
Okay.
It won't solve to the same level of effort as it does on the most common trees. And it's just a way that GTO Wizard is making its building these billions or millions of solves more efficient. So when you see a difference between the decision it makes and the EV difference, usually it's because of concept of Nash distance.
And which is the one that you can be more confident of? The EV or the percent?
The frequency of the EV?
Yeah.
Which can you be more confident? In a line that is taken commonly or a low frequency line?
Either one, it should be the same, but I'm gonna,
No, I think what happens really is that in the low frequency line, Scotty, is that we see these irregularities.
right.
So I think you could be more confident of it in a high frequency line where it's solved down to a lower level of exploitability. Whereas in a low frequency line, it hasn't solved as completely for that line. And so that's when you get discrepancies between frequencies and EV. Which, translates to their term mesh distance.
Okay, generally speaking, low frequency actions will disappear and become lower AV, the reason would be, that's why they. Okay. Yeah. So the solver, so the short answer with all that is, it's because the solver is actually wrong with one of those two numbers and we don't know which number is wrong.
Yeah.
It's either wrong in the frequency, but if the frequency is, when the frequency is significant, so if the solver is doing it 18 or 19%, then it's not gonna go to 0 and the EV has more error bars around it. It's reporting at 24.1 and the other one is 24.3, but in reality, they're both 24.2 plus or minus 0.3 or whatever the error bar is.
Yeah, so I haven't read that article in a while, but yeah.
Okay.
Essentially discrepancies appear in lower frequency lines where it's not computing down.
Right.
To the same level it is in the high frequency lines.
And with that in mind, if you choose one of them on the next one, we will still give you a point. If you choose a Nash distance mistake. And ASDF, you are up. You are in
Okay.
the small blind. You have 3-bet the button and you get this flop. And
Before we
oftentimes-
move on, could I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
So why does it tend to, as well, the solver sometimes recommend like a really small bet? Because I can understand, I guess, blocker bets or cheap showdown bets, but sometimes, well, in my opinion, is that it could look weaker than the check, right?
Well,
So I'm
what
just wondering
line
how you can expand on that.
what part of are you talking about flop, turn, or river, small bet?
So this one, for example, the river, mainly the river, not
Okay.
not the flop or turn. It's the river, really small bet compared to pot, like 10%. You know, on the river is just, where does that come from? What's the reasoning behind that?
Well, you're right, it does look weak, but I think what is gonna happen too is that solver is going to protect this size. So what it's doing is, the way it was explained to me is that we'll look, I think this is nicely explained in breakdown. So you notice in breakdown here, you can kind of see it. So this is, if you look at this is the city graph here.
Okay.
And the farther you move this way, pardon my arrow, the higher the equity of your combo. So that's what it does with the city graph. It's laying out vertically the equity of all your hands. So aces here have 79% equity out of position on river here. And then 7-6, which is the nuts, and has 99% equity, is at the very top. It doesn't have that very often, so it's very small. So the question is blocker bet, and why does it use a blocker bet? Doesn't it look weak? Well, it's mixing, right? So we can see this is the portion where it's using the blocker bet, right where we are, a lot, right? It's using the 10% here, and this is, if you look, this is right above where it checks. It thinks that its equity is not good enough to value bet, so it checks. And then you get here, and it is beginning to blocker bet, and it's blocker betting pure, right? However, it's protecting this blocker bet sizing. Let's see where it's protecting it. So this hand has 46% equity, just enough for it to block a bet, but not enough for it to use a big size. In theory. However, it's protecting it. Where is it protecting it? Well, we can go up here. The aces, it's protecting that sizing with aces. So it's mixing where it's using a blocker bet.
And then it's taking advantage of that way down at the bottom end with that bluff, where the blocker bet bluffs. Way
And
over
it's
there.
even mixing it, yes, precisely. It's even with its 0 equity hands, 4% equity hands. It also has some blocker bets it's mixing in. In this part too, it's got a lot of blocker bets down here. King, Jack. Looks like it's mostly a blocker bet. So what it's doing is it's protecting that sizing as it's protecting all of its sizings. The way it was explained to me is that what solver does is that with each size here, it's got 4 sizes. It's not using overbet. So it's actually not only using 3 sizes. With the 3 sizes it has here, it is putting the great majority of hands that match that sizing with the value, with its equity, the great majority go into that sizing bucket. However, part of it, I don't know how much, maybe 10%, maybe 20%, it pulls out of that bucket and puts in a different bucket. And by that way, it's protecting its bet sizing.
Also, you want to be balanced with your blocker bets anyway. So I mean, they can't automatically see you do a blocker, be like, oh, he's bluffing, I'm gonna jam. You know what I mean? So as long as you're balanced with your blocker, it actually is a pretty good tool in terms of like pot control, and then like, you know, forcing your opponent to basically be defensive. Whereas if you check it to them, then you know they're on the offensive. at that
Yeah, so
point.
let's just take this example. You're precisely right. Let's take this example to the next level. So let's say we bet with our solver-based mixed frequency protected 10% blocker sizing, all right? He's gonna have raises. Let's see what his most common raise size is. He just has a shove. So he shoves here, reacting to our blocker sizing. And we're protected. Recall, we were protecting that blocker sizing with all of our wheels. So we're calling with all those wheels.
If you show small blind as check and see what cutoff falls from there, I think that would be a better, I guess, like more real, like benefits / negatives of doing that. You know what I mean?
Say it again.
So if you make small blind check on the river and then look at cutoffs range after that, you can kind of see why the blocker bet is advantageous compared to not.
All right, so if we check, he's gonna have shoves. And then we protected our checking range too.
And against population, the tiny blocker bet also functions really well as a bet small to induce. Because there are people who, when looking at, I mean, where you do the ridiculously bet small to induce, you bet 1 big blind or 2 big blind, this really ridiculously small size, people will call you with absolutely nothing because they can't. And then they'll look at their absolutely nothing and saying, I can't fold to 2, and they'll raise you. And so that's another human exploit that you can use. And that extends to all the way up to a 10% blocker bet rather than a standard 25%.
Yeah, the old BSTI, Charlie Carell's
BSTI.
favorite play.
All right.
So yeah,
Okay.
this is an example of blocker sizing. I hope I explained it in a way that makes sense.
And you are up
yeah.
ASPF. You're up for the next one. So unmute yourself.
I'm just gonna use my space bar because I got a 3-year-old.
Okay, great. All right. You're up.
Okay, here we go.
Alright, so we 3-bet button call low flop. Range definitely is better for us than him. 2 overs can't. I would go with a 33 or a half. Yeah,
Definitely in there. 33 is fine.
2 doesn't really help my range. I guess it kind of helps his range. tiny bit, doesn't really change too much. I check here. Default check.
It's in there. It
Oh,
wants to polarize because it's such, so we see this a lot of times on boards that are double flush draw. It will size up a lot. Checking is fine. You have some showdown.
I mean, here, I guess I'm just check calling anything over like it.
Yeah, and we take this line, we just continue it. Oh, and we're gonna chop.
The split.
So I wonder if I had the ace of spades instead of the queen of spades, if that would change it. Like
On
maybe
flop?
yeah, like maybe I can blast more on the turn just because I'm blocking it. Well, no, I wouldn't want the ace of spades then, actually. So
I'm talking
yeah,
about on turn or flop you're more interested in.
on the turn, basically, or I guess the flop too, flop turn, basically the fact that I'm blocking the nut flush.
Yeah, you're kind of going cray cray. With the spade. I think and then if a river spade comes, you're gonna bluff it.
Yeah, definitely. See, that's the thing with like, so like, just like how the solver loves to have like any cap range. Like, I don't know how useful that is when you're playing like up to 2-5, just because like the pool is just not gonna understand that they need to fold at a certain clip. You know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, it's very much player dependent, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got,
And we know-
sorry, go ahead, Scotty.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and we know the solver is also not trying to exploit max value. It is not trying to say that this is the strategy that makes the most money. It's saying this is the strategy that is unexploitable. That's what its goal is. And that strategy is also unexploitable at 2-5 and at 1-2 and at 1 cent, 2 cent. No, you can't play better than it, even if it tells you how it's playing. But it isn't the maximum, it isn't the optimal profit strategy at any of those.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean,
Yeah.
what we're learning here is kind of like the basic mechanics. It's like,
Yeah.
I think of it literally as mechanics, like the moving parts that are the basics.
Yeah.
I understand why it's doing it, but when I play live, it's just out the door, right? Like I play with the guy consistently. He just, if he's got top pair aces, he's going to shove turn. So what do I do with my ace king? And he's in position. I check it. If he
Mhm.
has an ace, I know he's gonna bet flop and he's gonna shove turn. And I'm
Right.
gonna have the best ace 80% of the time.
Yeah.
Solver's doing the opposite. Solver's saying we want to bet big because we're going to we want to gain value from a hand like his, which has ace 10 or ace 9 and should play more defensively. However, this guy doesn't care. So I know how to play against him. I'm just gonna check and have him
Yeah.
go cray cray.
And we bet
So-
small to induce against people that want to go cray cray at a time that a solver doesn't.
Yeah, exactly, Scotty. Yeah.
Up next, I think ASTF just went and we don't have any other new people. So I am next and my attempt is to make it back from -3 to 0. But if I can't make it back to -3 to at least stay ahead of Richie, those are my goals.
Scotty, should we make this the last round?
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
we'll go to Martin's? Okay,
Yep.
all right, here we go.
All right. Ace 4 on an ace. This is a good one to check to protect my checking range with an ace. Check.
Well played, sir.
All right, happy with that. He did not bet. He checked. And now I'm not in big recapture V mode because I'm not there. So I'm going to bet small at the completing. I'm going to bet 33. Okay, even
You're in the
small.
right, you're thinking right.
Right idea, wrong size. Good enough.
Another time to refer you to ICAXT in there.
And now I'm going to check and just lose. And he can bluff me. Oh no, I'm gonna check and just win. Oh,
Too much showdown for him to bluff.
I love it. Perfect. I'm so glad he had a pair.
Yeah, he's too far up in his range to bluff.
Yep.
You know,
Okay.
one of the things, just as a note here, that I think is different from live play versus solver play. is I don't think that you have to worry as much about this 4 card flush coming in theory, because button is not going to have, and 3-bet callers are going to have fewer offsuit combos, especially when the ace is on the board. And so I think that that's another, that might just be like a thing for people to think about, like in your live games. Yeah, a
Yeah.
guy might have like queen nine off with the queen of spades. Like that might be a thing, but like solver never has that.
Right.
So, you know, you probably need to be a little bit more defensive in real life, I think, if you get to this spot than you do when you're training.
That's valid.
And without the ace, I'm tempted to bluff that spot, but with the ace, didn't have to. All right, Mike, Mike is the end of the world.
All right.
Good luck, Mike.
Give me a good one, Larry. Oh, this is kind of good. This is pretty good here. This is gonna, when we bet, we're gonna bet pretty big. Sizing up. We could probably check as well. I'm gonna take the bet line to let's go B 50 or 75. I'm gonna go 75. You know what? I should check just to give myself more options to gain more points.
I kind of wonder how much we check raise this if we get bet. This feels like a good check raise. We'll check after.
Because now he's just gonna fold.
Mm.
Oh, good. He called. Maybe that's not so good. Okay. We got a really filtered range here. This is going to check a lot, especially with our hand. So I am checking here. Still like some small bets. All right, what can we get called by?
A 9.
Will they call us with 8s with a spade, 7s with a spade, pair with a spades? Will they call us with? They don't have too many 9x here. I'm going to check. I bet we should value bet sometimes.
Bet 10, bet 35.
Ah, darn it. Yep.
That
Shoot.
bet 10 thing. All right.
Yeah. He can do this with the ace of spades, queen, ace of spades, jack. Probably should, I mean, folding this to population, but in solver, I'll bet it calls. But let's fold.
Well done.
And Mike, I think like this is another thing. Like I think that there are not that many offsuit. I think it's going to be, like this is going to be one of your few offsuit combinations. It's going to have the ace of spades in it. It's going to be ace of spades, king. Like there's just not going to be.
You're right. Yeah. So
like
always going to 3-bet ace queen and ace. They probably don't even call ace jack. Yeah.
Right. Like ace jack off is not a thing. So like you don't. There just are not.
Yep.
They're not spade flush draws that are going to blast on you here.
Yeah.
That's a really good
Call
point.
like 4-bet ace king, no?
Not always.
He slivers. He's got slivers.
But it's not going to be much. It like is kind of my point. Like solver's going to have slivers of it, and like humans though, we looked at a hand history that I had the other day. Humans will have more of this like single spade bluff in range possibly than solver.
Yeah, because the humans call ace jack off.
Oh, some of them jam with ace jack.
Yeah, some of them jam it also.
See, when I was kind of looking at that hand, like the fact of him having ace king was like I didn't even consider it because I figured he'd always 4-bet. So I guess I gotta kind of adjust, like, you know what I mean, in probabilities in their 4-bet range.
So using my very rudimentary math, he's got probably about 1.7 combos from this block. With ace king off, that he is calling.
And Larry, just click off the ace king so that we can see the whole offsuit side of the. Yeah, just not a lot of offsuit combos in the calling range.
Yeah. It's only ace king and ace queen, and that isn't realistic against our population. Against
this is really, that's a very important point that I was gonna make, is that people are inelastic. They're not gonna say, oh, well, I'm in this loose configuration. They will at higher stakes, but in this loose configuration, they're not gonna say, they're gonna say. They're gonna call more here. Call ace queen off more, call ace king off more.
Alright. So we're gonna do marked hands. If you've got if you've got any marked hands, just get them up on your computer and you'll get to share the screen yourself. And then just post in the chat saying yes, that you've got some marked hands, so we know who to call on, like that. I got marked hands. Mike's got marked hands. All right. Adam, you're up first while everybody else puts in what they got. So grab the computer and put it into a couple marked hands.
All right, give me a
Oh, and
sec
let's,
here.
we're gonna break it into two pieces. I'm gonna do stop now, and then we'll do a marked hands, separate video. Okay, stop.